let me speak about the radical left. You and I have both been parts of faculties and faculty senates and understand that the left has taken over our institutions. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts is an openly fascist piece of shit. He'll tell you why on this watch list.
In spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. No one in the audience should be despairing. No one should be discouraged. We ought to be really encouraged by what happened yesterday. And in spite of all of the injustice, which, of course, friends and audience of this show, of our friend Steve know, we are going to prevail.
I'm discovering that many Americans hyping up Trump aren't necessarily on board with the fascism that he and his architects at the Heritage Foundation are openly planning. They're just so deep in the my team versus your team propaganda, they aggressively push aside what those whiny libs have been saying, so they just don't know. Guess it's time to pay attention to what the people that they're following are saying, because it's the same damn thing that they've been ignoring.
That Supreme Court ruling yesterday on immunity is vital, and it's vital for a lot of reasons, but I would go to Federalist number 70 if people in the audience are looking for something to read over Independence Day weekend, in addition to rereading the Declaration of Independence. Read Hamilton's number 70, because there, along with some other essays, he talks about the importance of a vigorous executive. You know, former congressman, the importance of Congress doing its job, but we also know the importance of the executive being able to do his job. And can you imagine, Dave Bratt, any president, put politics off to the side, any president having to second guess, triple guess every decision they're making in their official capacity? You couldn't have the republic that you just described.
Let's rewind back to this guy's promise of bloodshed and his proposed second revolution. You notice that kind of talk wasn't being openly shared in interviews until the Supreme Court immunity decision came down. Because as he admitted, that was the one that they think gave them the keys to the country, the thing that allows them to eliminate all checks and balances. With the nation's highest court saying that their leader can break any law that he wants to, they don't have to worry about losing the election again. They can trigger all the actions they failed to after Trump lost in 2020, which led to January 6th violence as the last-ditch effort. So it's no coincidence that Heritage is making these declarations on currently incarcerated Steve Bannon's show. He revealed their plan for a fascist takeover a long time ago, and he's in jail right now for refusing to testify to the January 6th committee 3 years ago and alert too many Americans to their plans.
And what Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs voted mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. We're going to have Antifa crazy, the media crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting out, you lose. I'm the winner. I'm the king. And he'll be all over. He'll be going, where's Hunter? Is Hunter on a crack pipe? I mean, no, he'll be, because then it doesn't matter. Remember, here's the thing. After that, Trump never has to go to a voter again. He's going to fire Ray, the FBI director. He's going to say, F you. How about that? Because he's never going to, he's done his last election. Oh, he's going to be off the chain. He's going to be crazy. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. Because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Why no one has been asking every MAGA politician that follows Trump around about these revelations Steve Bannon made years ago is astounding. He literally detailed what they tried and failed to do on Election Day, but only because a few standard hurdles remained in place to trip them up, they couldn't. It's why he and another fascist discuss how to eliminate those hurdles.
The DOJ is completely corrupt from top to bottom. It's going to have to be purged. It's going to have to be restructured. They're going to have to get rid of tons of billets over there and lots of personnel on the afternoon of January 20th, 2025. They understand this. and the FBI is the American Gestapo. As an institution, they are not worthy of going forward. That's going to have to totally be restructured. I've been strongly for getting rid of the FBI, starting over again with some federal law enforcement to the degree you need it.
The one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice. And Steve, this is why they hate us. This is why we're tyrannical. This is why we're dictators, because we're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said we have always been guilty of.
I want the morning show producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us. This is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious.
Mike Pence was only a loyalist 95% of the time. When they needed him to do his part and subvert the transfer of power, he failed them. So the foot soldiers proposed hanging him in front of the Capitol, while the former president had no problem revealing that he supported their murderous chants.
Were you worried about him during that siege? Were you worried about his safety?
No, I thought he was well protected, and I had heard that he was in good shape. Mm-hmm. No, because I had heard he was in very good shape. But no,
you heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, those,
he could have. Well, the people were very angry.
They were saying, "Hang Mike
Because
Pence."
it's common sense, John. It's common sense that you're supposed to protect. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, right? Yeah. How can you pass on a fraudulent vote to Congress?
So this plan to fill the federal government with Trump loyalists after ridding it of the deep state includes people like Mike Pence and every other Republican that had a breaking point. And unsurprisingly, that plan is detailed in Project 2025 that Kevin Roberts is now openly linking to his daydreams of bloodshed.
You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
Okay. And in fact, you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in.
Just like Trump's court cases, they're not denying any of the details of their actions when people that are paying attention bring it up. Just smug people like that guy who think they're in the driver's seat for full control.
Project 2025 is the GOP's version of Mein Kampf. The difference is Mein Kampf is only 700 pages. Project 2025 is 900 pages. It wants to control all of our lives, and this Supreme Court is now putting that into effect through the bench. And we live in the United States of a Supreme Court that is the greatest law firm for Donald Trump in the world. It's a law firm of Roberts, Alito, and Thomas and Associates. They delivered a win for him on the January 6th case, maybe even the New York case and the Fulton County case at the same time.
Donald Trump does think he's king and would implement Project 2025 and would use these powers to their maximum detriment to the rest of the American people.
If Trump wins, we're doing this show in a camp somewhere. You know, that's the reality of the world we live in right now. You know, more you, Joy, than me. I'm like on the second tier of people, maybe the third tier of people they're coming for. You're way up there. I mean, that's the truth. Michael Steele, you're gone. So here, the reality is, I don't know what more to tell people. This election is not Trump versus Joe Biden. It is Trump versus democracy. It's Trump versus freedom.
These are the conversations that Trump world has conditioned followers into dismissing as BS coming from weak, scared people on the left that are still somehow dangerous. You know, the narrative never makes any sense. It's just a matter of whether or not Americans are paying attention to the blatantly violent, dictatorial promises that they keep making. So when some people that vote for this plan are surprised when it takes away their rights, the traitors can simply say, we told you this was a fascist takeover. Don't complain now.
Second term kicks off with firing Wray, firing Fauci. Now, I actually want to go a step farther, but I realize the president is a kind-hearted man and a good man. I'd actually like to go back to the old times of Tudor England. I'd put the heads on pikes, right? I'd put them at the two corners of the White House as a warning to federal bureaucrats. You either get with the program or you're gone. This is what we used to do to traitors. That's how you won the revolution. Nobody wants to talk about it. Revolution wasn't some sort of garden party, right? It was not. It was a civil war. It was a civil war.
It has put the legitimacy of this regime in question to independence, right? They're sitting there going, you know, something's not right. I think you're correct, right? Number one, that. Number two is to make sure that we get a fair accounting of what exactly happened. We can't go forward without it. Number three is to make sure they can't cheat us again. Number four is return Donald J. Trump to his rightful ownership of this presidency.
Are you prepared to fight? Are you prepared to give it all? Are you prepared to leave it all on the battlefield? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. Victory or death.